Okay, well,
we're good.
Here we are. Now. Let's go.
We made it.
Welcome. Hello. Welcome to the Brown Skin Blueprint. Do we still introduce ourselves?
I guess so.
I'm Brittany.
I'm Shawana.
Welcome to the Brown Skin Blueprint.
Welcome. How rude of me to pop an M&M in my mouth.
It's okay.
At the start of this thing.
We are here today to talk about love languages, but specifically love language dysfunction. So my lovely co-host has actually read the book on what the 5 love languages are. Most people are familiar with what they are, but I will let my co-host explain exactly what the 5 love languages are.
Now, it has been a while, so I do have my notes up here, so I'm gonna tell y'all nothing wrong. So the 5 different love languages, you have words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. So I'm going to just, I guess, kind of touch on a little bit of each one. So words of affirmations, you may be, and Brittany, we'll split it.
Okay.
I guess. Okay. So, well, I'll talk about, we can tie in mine, and I'll describe what that means, and then Brittany can do hers. Okay. And then we'll just touch on whatever else. So my number one, when you take the test, they rank, and we'll link the test if anybody wants to take it. They'll rank like on the highest level of what your love language is. So my number one is acts of service, and the second one is words of affirmation. So acts of service is like people being able to show up for you. Like I'm a person who doesn't ask for much, so when I do, like, it comes from a vulnerable place. It's from somebody that I trust, and so somebody who kind of just is like, oh, I got you, no problem. Like, that does it for me. Like, that makes me feel secure, feel loved. If you have acts of service, that is what I like. All right. And words of affirmation. So I'm a motivator. I need motivating. I like to hear the encouraging words. Just kind of, the words are soothing for me. So I need to communicate often. I need reassurance every now and again, because the words is kind of what solidifies and confirms things for me. Gotcha. So that also makes me feel loved. What about your top love languages?
I struggle with this because really there are like multiple. But so I have the other ones that Shawana has not said. Quality time is very important to me. I actually see your description of acts of service as quality time. So people wanting to spend time with me or like do stuff with me, like that's really, really, really big. Like it don't gotta be us like going out nowhere. Like I enjoy quality time. In my intimate relationship, so like my marriage, physical touch is very, very, very important to me. And then the last one that's left is
receiving gifts.
Yeah,
gift giving. So I actually was married to somebody whose love language was receiving gifts, but it wasn't mine.
Gotcha.
But that was his way of showing it. So your way of showing people you love them is by, you know what they like, you buy them the stuff that they like, or just gift giving in general, being able to give in some type of way. It's not always like a gift, like it may be you like to provide in a financial way, or maybe like you can offer something to somebody, you know, maybe because physical touch may not be your thing. I found too that mine switched over the years. Like I read the book and took the test back when I first got married, and then I did it again maybe a year or two ago. Okay. And it shifted a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah, mine switched. And I don't know if I've talked to a few people who it has changed over the years, but I'm curious to know, for people who have taken the test before or have read the book and you've done it multiple times, did it stay the same? Has it shifted over the years? I like to take it over over a couple of years now. Like it's about that time for me to do it.
I just feel like I fit in like all the categories.
I do too at some point. I feel like we all do at some point in time though.
I feel like the last 3 though are really, really, really like me. But I always be like, but depending on the day or the month, I can kind of fit into all of them.
Yeah, I agree. because my top two when I first took it was quality time and physical touch. No, it was quality time and words of affirmation. Physical touch was underneath.
Gotcha.
Now physical touch is like really close to the bottom.
Gotcha.
But now that I'm even more in a vulnerable state of my life, I want more physical touch. So I'm curious. I really want to take it over. I'm going to, because I really want to know now, because I feel like it might have shifted a little bit more. So, yep.
Interesting. I never thought about the different phases of life and how that could, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good point.
Yeah.
So,
Brandon should take it again.
We should.
Yes, that would be interesting.
How do you show, like, what is your love language to other people?
To other people, acts of service, definitely. And I feel like it's the same, honestly. Words of affirmation.
That's interesting.
I really do feel like it's the same. I like gift giving, but I feel like even when I do that, it's tied into something else. So I would have to say that I want to receive how I give. I feel like that has something to do with my sun and my Venus being in Leo. I feel like that has something to do with that. So yeah.
For me, it is definitely gift giving.
Mm-hmm.
Which I would say is in my top 3. Anybody who knows me, I am thank you. I'm a very intentional gift giver. So yeah, gift giving I definitely say I would do for others. I feel like between acts of service and quality time. See, I don't feel like words of affirmation really fits, because for me, it's not conscious. Like, I'm not conscious that I'm doing that.
Yeah. But you are on a, like, naturally.
I try to do that anyway, so I'm not conscious that I'm doing it. But yeah, I feel like acts of service / quality time. So yeah, I guess it's the kind of the same of what I like to receive from others. So I think that's where I fit.
Now, I'm trying to think. There's not 2 tests. Is there 2?
What do you mean? Oh, like how we love other people. I don't know.
I feel like there's an additional book with a different one. But I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look into that. Don't quote me.
That's interesting.
But I only ever remember taking that one test. Both of the times that I've taken them. So.
I have a question for you. So what do you do when people don't like to be loved the way that you show love?
That's a hard one, but I feel like I have had to do that a lot.
It is a hard one.
I feel like I have to find some type of middle ground without stepping over my boundaries. And I have to figure out if the person is worth me
doing that
middle ground. That was another thing I feel like I struggled with. Now, if the person is worth it, I feel like I feel like it's dependent on the person, because there's an experience where I feel like I'm changing in different ways, but I'm actually enjoying, even though it's uncomfortable a little bit at first, I'm enjoying like having a different experience. So I feel like there's no like straight up answer for me for that one, because it's literally dependent on like the person, because there's some people that I've been close with before, and I can't mesh with we've tried it, there's no meshing. I can't receive you in that way, and vice versa. And so those people I don't really deal with anymore. Okay. So I feel like it's able to work, but it has to be like, I don't know. I feel like it has to be a peculiar situation. I don't know. What do you think? Or how do you first?
Same, I guess. I want to say this though, and I really didn't realize this until I got like older. I feel like do I want to say like my closest connection? Like the people I'm closest to, I feel like we have similar love languages.
Me too.
And I don't know if that's necessarily because we're not like in this confusion or fighting of you don't like that, but I do like that. Like, I don't know if it's because of that and it's just easier to be around people who kind of get what you need and you don't really have to explain it.
Yeah.
But I do think it's dependent upon the person. I also feel like it's dependent upon the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because how far are you asking me to go, or how much out of my comfort zone do I have to go for your comfort zone, but like you're not doing anything?
Right.
So I do think it's person. I also think it's situation though, because like you said, now am I coming out of like
my morals on
am I completely disregarding everything that like I know and feel to kind of like appease you or like make you comfortable?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do feel like it's easier with people who just I don't have to explain stuff.
And I feel like even with thinking about that particular situation, there's one huge similarity though, even though there's a big opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still something I feel like brings us back to a common ground. So I personally agree with that. I feel like when it's opposite and it works, that works better in partnerships. That works better in like work situations and that type of thing. But when it's intimate, I feel like you gotta have like at least one common, because that's where y'all always gotta have somewhere to come back to. Yeah. So I feel like that's like the common ground. So I agree. I totally agree. Yeah. Okay, so all right. Let me say this first. So I feel like
let me drink.
In friendships, okay, so like in friendships, I feel like that's also an area where you can have like somebody who has an opposite love language.
Right.
If it's reciprocated though. Like so if I'm sacrificing in this area, the other person has to sacrifice in the area too. I feel like that's the only way it works, because what I'm starting to find, like thinking about our own personal experiences too.
Yes.
There was a lot of I'm gonna meet you halfway, but there was never the other side never occurred. Okay. So it's like, and I feel like that's where like resentment starts coming into play. Yes. That's when the whole, is this even worth continuing to try to move forward?
Okay. Agreed.
So so clearly not having the same love which can create conflict. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, well, I think I answered the question. If the only way that it can be negative is if there's no reciprocity within the connection.
I don't think it's necessarily that it's not reciprocity. Mm-hmm. I think that on either side, going back to what we just talked about, when does it become uncomfortable? Not because there's not reciprocity, but maybe because it's like, if you don't have it, you don't have it to give. So if that is just not the kind of person you are, where do you kind of either draw the line or kind of tap out and say, like, I'm trying, but this just ain't it. So sometimes I feel like the effort can be there, but I also feel like there are times where it's not enough, if that makes sense.
So the effort can be harmful.
The effort can be harmful to the person that's doing it, because there have definitely been times in like past relationships and past friendships where I felt like either I was doing too much and then it wasn't received, but I also felt like, okay, I don't know what is going on here, but I am falling short. Yeah. While that may not have been the case, I just felt like whatever I was trying to morph or, shape shift into, like I was trying to give my best, but it wasn't being received that way. Yeah. But it wasn't necessarily my thing either. So I don't know. I really think it's almost like, not that you have to sit down and have a conversation about, hey, what is your love language? But I think in friendships, we don't really think to consider that. Yeah. Like, I think we show up and love and do for people, like, as we know how. But I don't think we realize, especially, like, once we get older, like, shit we were doing with people when we were, like, 21, 22, when we turned 30, that don't necessarily work anymore. Or maybe that person has changed. Or maybe the person hasn't changed and you have, and you're kind of like,
agree. So, how do you navigate? How do you navigate those connections where you feel like, okay, maybe this is a pivot point because maybe we've grown in different directions, or like you said, I've never really had it to give. We've been trying,
so but I can't do it.
Yeah, I can't do it. So how do you?
This is gonna sound.
What are you about to say?
It's gonna sound harsh.
Okay, what is it? Let's hear it.
This is my truth, though.
Okay.
I think you need to find your tribe. I do. Point blank, period.
Okay.
I just think, and I'm not saying because it's easier, but I really think when you get to a point where, and we've said this plenty of times, it's just a different subject. When you get to a point where it does not work, like sometimes is it really worth forcing?
I don't think so.
I just don't know that certain things are worth, because it gets to a point where both of y'all are uncomfortable as hell.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's kind of like, what do you do? Because you're not happy, I'm not happy, you think you're doing your part, I think I'm doing my part. But in both of our minds, maybe you're just not. It's not giving what it's supposed to give. Okay, I'll give you a perfect example.
Okay.
I feel like Ashley is like my match for gift giving.
Okay.
Like my husband too. When I say like the intention and not of like expense or like spending money. But I just be like, oh my God. The thought. Like, oh my God. Me and you. Like, quality time and then with, like, acts of service. So, even specifically 2019. So, I'm a big person where I just want you to show up. Like, you just being present. So, even though you were physically not here, the fact that I could call you and have a conversation, like, you being present, like, to me, that's stuff that I don't take for granted. So that's why I get upset when I be like, damn, like, we couldn't even go out to eat? Like, what the fuck? Like, I appreciate just people being present. Like, not you trying to fix my problems, not you being, like, overbearing, but the fact that you will sit and listen to me. Like, I don't take that for granted between us.
Right.
So I feel like my people just get it, and I don't have to do a whole lot of explaining. Just like me and Shawana will have the same conversation like 32 times. Mm-hmm. That is a part of our friendship and a part of our love language with each other. Like, bitch, you know you're my person to figure this out with. Yeah. Like, that's just what it is at this point. So, I don't know. I think as I get older, I'm just like, oh my God, like, this is just where I am. Like, it's just easier. And I'm not saying that other connections were not as great because we didn't share a love language. I just think the older I got, it just becomes harder to fight trying to, love people the way they want to be loved when they don't love me the way that I want to be loved. Right. Like, on either side. Like, it's not just one person is wrong and one person is right. It's like I don't know how you navigate that. I feel like if you cannot come to a common ground, I just don't know if it's worth the fight. And maybe y'all just can't be as close as you used to be. Like, maybe that's just it. Like, maybe it's just y'all friendship dynamic changes. Yeah. But I just don't know that at this age that I have it in me to keep trying to figure people out, especially if they do not voice that there's a problem.
Right.
So I don't know. It's difficult.
I agree, though. I feel like after a certain amount of time that it's just that you need to find your people, because I feel like the whole part of feeling stuck is we used to mesh in this way.
Yes.
And now we don't. And we're constantly trying to mesh
Yes.
into it. We're probably never going to mesh in this way again because we are two different people now.
Yeah.
So I agree that after a certain amount of time, if that stuff isn't, which leads me to my next point. Now I feel like, as weird as it may be for some people, it's important to have those conversations. Like,
agreed.
In the beginning, there's nothing wrong with while you're leisurely, kicking it with people or getting to know them, to throw those questions in from time to time, like a gradual get to know people, a gradual ask these questions that aren't red flags or stuff later or stuff we feel like we bypassed. I feel like it's important to implement structure even when you're like making new connections or new friendships, partnerships, intimacy, whatever it may be. I think we have to create new habits so that we're not doing a whole bunch of pruning and plucking and shit all the time. Like, that part of my life, I'm glad it's over. Like, I don't want to suck no more venom out. I don't want to cut no more vines and pick any more thorns. I'm pretty much ready to just fucking keep growing. So
I just had a thought.
Mm-hmm.
When you said, like, basically about us, being younger and it changes, I think the quality changes. And let me tell you why I said that. I have had several conversations with either family members or people that I'm associated with that are like still in like their mid-20s, early 20s. Mm-hmm. And they are still in that stage of, they feel slighted a lot of the times by how their friends move.
Yeah.
And I remember being there. Like, it's just something about being that codependency and being attached. That is just a different vibe in like your early to mid 20s.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for them to see that, but I try to explain to them that attachment you have. I mean, I would hope, but that attachment you have, at some point, you're gonna be okay with like them doing them, you doing you, and it doesn't have to be almost like y'all damn near need permission from each other to be who you are. I said that to say, I think sometimes we, like at certain stages of life, like early on, like to them, that is quality time, or like that's an act of service that like you wanted to go bust somebody windows out with me. Like, bitch, you my ride or die because we out here in this drama and we making it happen. Literally in these streets, okay? Like, I think that is at that point in life, maybe it is. Maybe, doing that kind of stuff together does matter. Mm-hmm. I feel like when you get older and stuff just starts to change, you really kind of be like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know if that's for me anymore.
Right.
So I think, like, to you, that might have meant a lot. But then when you turn 28, 29, that quality time needs to be like more on a healthy level and just not dysfunction, if that makes sense. Or even in an intimate relationship, y'all having sex all day long. Like, hey, we've all been there, done that. Had that one that, bro, like, get it no matter when, how, where. And that was just like a wonderful dynamic of y'all relationship. As you get older, should sex still be important? Absolutely. But your physical touch, just like Shawana said, it might change. The quality might be different. It might be more on a like, we need to have intimacy and not just, we humping like dogs every day, like all day long. So I think that's another thing that kind of complicates it, because like the quality of what we want changes. Like it could still be physical touch. It just might be you want more intimacy than actual just humping around all day long. So I think it's like a lot to consider. I just think and I never thought about it until you said it, how, it changes over the years. But definitely, as you mature and you grow, what you want and also what you want to give, it's just not going to be the same. I don't feel like I feel like I've always been a good gift giver. But I feel like I used to be more of like a good surprise gift giver. Like, oh, they weren't expecting this. Like, let me do this. Mm-hmm. But now, no. I'm like, I pay attention. Like, whatever, I listen to what people say. I listen to what they're interested in. And then come Christmas or birthday time, like, I've been listening to you. Like, I pay attention to what you say. So now I have to find you a gift that aligns with that. I don't know. I think we need to know ourselves most importantly, but you need to know the people around you. Because then also, are they going to step up to the plate when you change?
Mm-hmm.
And not that they owe you that, but
it's just something to consider.
It's something to think about. Because we all change, we all mature. So are they going to be ready for that when that happens? Just saying.
Good question. I have nothing to say after that. Absolutely nothing. Like, literally, like, that was the perfect, yeah. I have to say, I agree. Totally agree.
Just a thought.
Okay, so I feel like we touched on this a little bit, but just to kind of segue out.
Okay.
So I can't wait till we do like a live because I want to ask people.
Right. Like I want to ask like somebody a question.
So do you feel that, well, we answered it. It works better when you give and receive in the same way in the connections that you are. Because they say that opposites attract.
Yeah.
And yeah, we pretty much did kind of talk about it already because I do feel like it works, but more so, like I said, in partnerships and stuff like that. I think I prefer in my intimate connections for that to be, us to have at least like one similarity. You can always get jazzy with the, the different one. And
yeah.
Be spontaneous, creative or whatever. But at the core, yeah.
I think there does need to be at least one that's shared. Because I think when it's just like complete,
I was like alienish.
It's like how do you
when do y'all mesh,
how do you make that
the harmony of it all?
How do you make that work?
Yeah, interested to hear if anybody like is actively in a connection like that where it's total opposite love connections, but it works. And I'm sure that I feel like there's always an exception somewhere. So
I'm sitting here trying to think about like past intimate relationships. And yeah, I can't think of like we always at least had one that was similar. I don't know if I've ever. I will say I feel like I've been around or connected to somebody and theirs changed. But I didn't know it changed until something was wrong.
Same.
And it kind of like shocked me. Like I was kind of like, oh, okay, guess you're not doing that no more. But I can't think of like, I don't know that I've ever like really been connected to somebody and both didn't share one of them.
I have, and it did not work.
Yeah,
It did not work. Like, and we drug it out. We drug it out. We just two different people, man. Now I can sit here and say that, but that was some rough time.
That's what I'm saying. Rough. I think it's like really hard. I can't even sit here and like think of nobody off top that I'm like, oh yeah, they were like the total opposite for me.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, share in the comments if you have somebody that's like complete opposite, like friendship or intimate, like.
Or if you know someone that's like been together a long time and maybe they have a successful situation. I'm trying to think of like celebrities, but we wouldn't know their like love language if they said it out loud. But if y'all know, let us know. Like I'm interested. There's somebody out there. It's gotta be.
You know what's always funny to me about celebrities?
What?
When they buy each other gifts. Like, how many fucking watches and cars can you get? Like, it just always makes me wonder, like, what are y'all conversations like at home? Like, and I don't know these people, so maybe that's what they want. But I'm just like, bruh.
It never seems genuine, though. It always kind of just seems like
flashy.
Who got the biggest?
Yeah, I just be like.
And that's annoying.
That's why I thought it was kind of cool when Offset got Cardi. We get her a house like on that island or something. And then somebody, and even though y'all dragged Ari for the shit, but I thought it was cool when she brought money back your land. Like, I think, like, okay, if you're going to spend money, like, yeah, let it be something like that. But I'm like, damn, how many watches and cars are y'all going to buy? You
don't buy me no goddamn jewelry.
Especially not when, like, I have 5 watches. Like, what? I don't know them folks, so let me not just,
I had an ex who would buy me exactly what I asked them not to, because that's what they wanted me to have.
Interesting.
Like it was crazy, but they, in their head they're like, no, this is a great
thing. Yeah, like why don't you?
Why wouldn't you want something like that? Is not my thing. That's when I knew. So yeah, but no, that's when I knew I was a peculiar person too, because the stuff that I be wanting, y'all, it'd be so weird or like so minuscule, but it's really big to me. Like Brittany be joking all the time about if somebody noticed the smallest thing about me, I'd be like, oh my god, you remember that? You were listening?
She's not joking. She's like, they did such and such. I didn't know they were paying attention.
I didn't even know they watched. Yeah. I don't. I be in my own world.
Yeah. People, you're supposed to. That's at least, the healthy thing. You're supposed to pay attention. So
this is true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I just feel like at this point, what advice are we gonna give? Because I feel like we have sat here and told these people like, K your ass.
If it ain't flowing,
match,
K your ass.
Just go.
So I would say, if you are somebody who is actively navigating any type of relationship, I do recommend that you both do take the 5 love language test first, and like see. Even the act of doing things like that together opens you up in different ways. So I would say if you're like in a point, because I feel like that's even with the times right now. A lot of people are like you said, finding their soul tribe or letting go of other people so that they can. So this is a perfect time to like, and this will allow you to see who's really like there for you or not. To like say, hey, y'all ever thought about us getting together and doing stuff like this? Like this is healthy stuff you could do other than just like getting together for kickbacks or you know what I'm saying, like always. Because I know the social thing to do is drink, but okay, drink and take the love language test. Like, I do recommend take the test, explore these different things about yourself, learn yourself and other people. Let those be activities that is intimacy, getting to know people. So I do recommend starting in a place like this and just seeing where it goes and not being afraid to pivot or shift what your support looks like, because letting go means opening up for more. So that's what I'll say.
The real quotes. Y'all probably gonna see that on the page. No, agree. I think that I'm always encouraging a hard conversation. I know I get tired of me saying this. But I just feel like if you feel like you and somebody you love, whether it's, your partner, your intimate partner, or like somebody you're close to, if you just feel like something isn't lining up, like Shawana said, I think that is like a great way to have a conversation, because maybe things have changed. Maybe you've changed. Maybe the person has changed. So don't shy away from like, I don't know what's going on, but I feel like what used to work doesn't work. Like, how can we come to some kind of common ground? So I think it's a perfect conversation tool and a perfect intimacy piece too, for an intimate relationship. I agree with what I said earlier. I'm sorry. I think that, and honestly, it's going to happen naturally. I don't think you're going to have to like search for people who, share like that common interest or common love language. I think naturally you will gravitate towards people who kind of, love how you love, or like to do things the way that you do things, in a sense of, just showing affection or showing appreciation. Y'all gonna find each other. It always happens. So yeah, definitely I really am interested in somebody who has somebody that is the complete opposite. So for real, if that is your life, love life, friend life, whatever, please share in the comments like how that works, because I really want to know.
And if y'all sharing that, we might have to get y'all on the Zoom.
I mean, just saying.
Do a good interview. Okay?
Just saying, like, to make like a part 2 to this, because I really want to know.
So yes, guys, like Brittany said, go on and comment if you know of somebody or if you are in a situation. Make sure you follow us on everything Brown Skin Blueprint. We're on almost all streaming platforms. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share this with a friend or family member. If you have questions or ideas or topics that you want to hear I or Brittany talk about, drop them in the comments. You can DM us or email us at brownskinblueprint@gmail.com. Period. Y'all enjoy y'all's day.
Bye.